Hello, my name is Rodrigo, and I'm the sales manager of Industries Gonal since 2012. Now I'm going to talk about market trends in Spain and Portugal with regards to airtightness in non-metallic ductworks for ventilation system. But this wouldn't be possible to understand if we don't consider the context of the different areas of this development. Let me say in advance that I apologize if I repeat any of the arguments that my colleagues have explained in the previous presentations. It is necessary to repeat them. So, Industries Gonal is a Spanish company that operates in the market since 1986. Over the years, new companies were integrated in our group. Our mission is to provide high energy efficiency ventilation systems and technologies, improving comfort and health of persons, and being respectful with global environment. Today our group, Aspen Tech, Aspen comes from air, healthiness, persons, environment, and media. It's formed by Gonal, who designs, produces, and commercializes plastic ductwork for ventilation system. Another company is Cyber, designing, producing, and commercializing complete ventilation systems through a multi-channel marketing giving its support to prescribers, installers, and builders. And Metair, it's another company of our group that designs, produces, and commercializes through metallic ductwork for ventilation system. It is very important for us to have the support and simultaneously give our support to different organizations involved in the task of describing our mission. For this reason, we can affirm that through the partnership of the companies of our group, we are founding members of INIVE Spain. We are also official partners of TightVent Europe. We are associated also to BREEAM Spain. We are members of the Green Building Council of Spain and official partners of the Spanish platform of Pacifal. Moreover, there are persons of our companies integrating technical committees for the national legislation development in Eduardo Torroja's Institute. This is an institute that depends of CSIC, the Spanish National Research Council, which is an organization integrated in the Ministry of Economy, Industry, and Competitiveness of the Government of Spain. Okay, in order to meet the needs of people and society in terms of comfort, healthiness, and energy efficiency, we have to provide legislation for the energy performance. We have created, or we are in a process of creating, a culture about indoor air quality, and we have developed several different ventilation strategies. But if we want to close the circle and turn these three concepts already developed in reality, we have to offer systems and product technologies aligned and oriented to the objectives that we pursue. So, focusing on legislation development in Spain and Portugal and contextualizing this with the legislation development of the European Union, we can identify in so far this century two different but interconnected legislative process to go from a conventional home with some problems causing a bad interaction with users to an improved home with solutions for all these problems. So The first of this process, initiated with the approval of the EPBD directive in 2002 by the European Community, was followed by Spain and Portugal between 2006 and 2007. In Spain, with the development of the Technical Building Code for residential buildings and the thermal installations for building regulation for tertiary buildings. And in Portugal, with the development of INCI agency, sustained through a new regulation related to the new European directive. I have to say that in Portugal, they give more importance to bureaucracy than in Spain. And I say this not as criticism, but as a verification of a reality. And all these changes were directed to improve healthiness of people. So the other process was initiated with the approval between 2009 and 2010 of the eco-design and the reform of EPBD directive. These changes were integrated into national regulations in Spain and Portugal between 2013 and 2015, supposing the reform of technical building code in Spain and the transformation of INCI into IMPIC in Portugal, sustained through a new regulation related to the new directives. And these changes were directed to improve the energy efficiency of buildings. Indoor air quality is the main purpose of ventilation. We need our homes well ventilated to ensure our healthiness. And for this, we have to exhaust full air and infiltrate clean filtered air from outside the home. I think this is very clear. Also, there are several ventilation strategies. All of them are okay to reach the goal of ensuring an acceptable indoor air quality, but their performance with regards to energy efficiency is what makes them different from each other. Thus, the least efficient of all is ventilation by opening windows, which is localized and punctual. The next one is natural ventilation through grills installed inside the house. The least efficient of the mechanically controlled ventilation systems is the installation of extra fans in the toilet, also localized and punctual. Then the self-balanced ventilation system is the less efficient of the mechanical controlled ventilation system. It ensures ventilation always and everywhere inside the home, but it doesn't take care of energy efficiency. The humidity sensitive ventilation system is as effective as the previous one, but it also has a point. It regulates the need of ventilation according to the demand. And finally, the most efficient of the ventilation systems is the energy recovery ventilation system that ventilates always and everywhere, but also can recover heat or cool from air removed from inside the home in winter or summer and in cold or hot areas. I want to punctualize that we always call this system heat recovery, but it's not only heat recovery system, because in hot areas where in summer we arrive to a very high temperature outside the building, we have to cool the air inside the building through a cooling system. And with energy recovery ventilation system, we can recover part of the cool air inside the dwelling in order to enter a temperature, air from outside the dwelling with a better temperature. We here in Spain, we have so many areas that in summer are very hot, even arriving at 45 degrees. And these kind of systems can also have a task in these situations. At this point, we will reveal the risk that could hinder the correct application of the legislation through energy efficiency ventilation strategies aimed at warranting good indoor air quality. The first picture shows how a bad selection of extraction outlet and insufflation inlet may suppose inside areas without good ventilation rate. The second picture shows how the selection of the location of the ventilation unit is important to avoid abrupt changes of the airflow, compromising the performance of the ductwork with pressure losses. So we have to avoid the poorly designed air distribution system. At this slide, we can see how bad practices in installation can also put in risk the performance of the ventilation system. So we have to avoid, again, poorly installed air distribution system or bad product choices. The third detected problem, and is the problem that the most important problem for this presentation is leakage. This problem may suppose a long list of inconveniences depending on whether we analyze its effects in relation to healthiness, energy efficiency, or comfort. In terms of healthiness, leakage along the intake ductwork can cause the entry of pollutants from outside the building in air that has not been previously filtered. So in the ventilation unit, sorry. So can cause return of the air exhaust from wet areas like bathroom or kitchen to clean areas like rooms or living rooms. We call this effect filtration to unconditional spaces. In terms of energy efficiency, leakage can mean oversizing of the system to ensure a correct airflow. This problem means an increasingly system consumption that is not necessary. Also can mean thermal losses affecting to the performance of the ventilation system. And finally, in terms of comfort, leakage can affect the user, producing mismatches in the air distribution and noise. So the first step we have to follow in order to align system and product technologies with legislation, indoor air quality and ventilation strategies is to ensure best practices in the two main concepts that generate impact on the final performance of the system. This is design and installation principles. Our company has assumed its commitment to put its activity to service of best practices. For this purpose, we have developed a plastic ductwork system with integrated airtight seals, whose installation is developed with mechanical connection in order to avoid this bad practice. The system is extremely airtight. In fact, we classified it through an external certification agency as Class D according to EN 12-2037. So if the ductwork by itself can ensure the airtightness, is a warranty of best installing practices for the designer, as well as for all the agents involved in the development of a project. And at level of regulations, it is also being considered as rigid ductwork by technical committee, mentioned before by my colleague Lacek, in development of new regulation of non-metallic ductwork made from plastics in ventilation for buildings. And also, it is the easiest and fastest rigid plastic ductwork to install. Comparing it with the traditional rigid plastic ductwork, we have tested internally, time used, and we can affirm that with airtight version of our ductwork, an installer can save between 80 and 90% of time. This means cost saving, for sure. The proposed ductwork system offers a wide range of accessories of different shapes and dimensions in order to allow designers to cover with the ductwork, with this ductwork all flow needs in individual ventilation system for residential sector. This upgrade of conventional ductwork is completed with an antibacterial and anti-static duct that prevents diseases and avoid dust embedded into the duct, not only when it's installed, but also during its storage. So to end this presentation, we only can say that with solutions as Tubpla Pure StancoFix, we integrate value by aligning concepts. So thank you very much for your attention and for attendance, and thank you very much also to TightVent for organizing this.